Okay, welcome back to One Piece Anime Re-Review Part 22D. This one's discussing the last 11 episodes of the Thriller Bark arc, episodes 371 to 381. The first three episodes actually conclude the fight with Gecko Moria. Yep, he has stopped running. Of course, they pretty much fight him over the course of two episodes. And thanks to Luffy show up in his Nightmare Luffy form, which makes him look like the same size as frickin' Frankie. Actually, close same size. Yep, and he's able to beat him. But he's not fully beat. Even though Oris himself is beaten, Gecko Moria is not beaten just yet. Nope. He absorbs 1,000 shadows. And then Luffy basically uses his special jet bazooka on him. He uses the third gear on him. And then eventually he decides to topple a freaking building on him to finally expunge all of the shadows. And yeah, he is fully defeated. Gecko Moria is defeated and he remains unconscious for pretty much the rest of the arc. Of course, his next actual appearance after this, even though he's unconscious, he is later seen after he's defeated. He's next seen on an escape ship with Absalom and Hunchback. Yep. Don't worry, Gecko Moria will return in Marineford with a completely different attire. Yep, they changed the attire. As in the case of Hogback and Absalom, Hogback himself would pretty much disappear from the series. As far as I can tell, I don't think he appeared. I think he appeared once after this, and Gecko Moria's one return after Marineford in the one arc. Absalom himself would also return in that particular arc for a one-off appearance where he's actually dead. Yep. And with him defeated, everything is over. Nope. This is when Kuma shows up and proceeds to have a couple people disappear, beat up some people with his special pop power. Everything's just the cutesy cat power. Nope. This thing is pretty deadly. And they don't beat him. Nope. They say that, okay, he says, I will spare your lives if you give me Luffy. Everyone's like, no way would I hand you over Luffy. He does that. He says this after he had created a gigantic air paw, and compressed the thing into his hand. Then he basically detonates it. And despite the fact that with everybody knocked out, he proceeds to almost take Luffy, but look enough he's stopped by Zoro. And Zoro says, take my head instead. Of course, Sancho has step in, is like, no, take my... Of course, Sanji, his leg is his pants are partially torn. You can see his leg. And part of his shirt as well. And of course, Zoro's like, no, me instead. So, Kuma comes up with something kind of very deadly for Zoro. He pretty much uses his paw power to remove all the physical injuries that Luffy received during his fight with Gecko Moria and be exposed to all those shadows. And creates a red paw, and basically Zoro pretty much absorbs it into himself. And then next time you see him, this is of course after of course Kuma leaves, and of course he kind of figures out though, yeah, Luffy, the reason why Luffy spared Luffy is because he's the son of Monkey D. Dragon. And because, in case you're wondering about him, there's a bit of a backstory explaining him a little bit later. There's not really... He has a history with Dragon due to the fact he was once a member of the Revolution. He's not technically a pirate. He may be one of the warlords of the sea, but he was never a pirate. That's kind of the strange thing when it comes to Kuma. He's actually one of two people who are technically considered part of the warlords of the sea at this point, and yet he's not a pirate. The other, of course, happens to be Hawkeye Mihawk. Yeah, he's not... You can kind of call him a pirate per se, but he doesn't... He basically just an agent for the government. He just does whatever the heck he wants. Kuma is just a government weapon. And they explain he was once known as a tyrant, and he was always very deadly. He was known for causing a lot of massacres. That's why he got the name Tyrant. He's also been called the Bear. Yes, because he has bear ears on top of his hat that he wears. Yeah, they also explain that he's actually a Pacifica. Yeah, this is Lucid for technically the very next arc of the series, Sabaody Apago, and I think was explained by Gecko Moria to be him that the Straw had to be separated, which that would happen in the next arc, and when everybody's shadows pretty much restores them, and of course everybody's like pretty much back normal. They do show what happened to the shadow that was in the Victoria zombie. Yeah, it turns out this particular shadow belonged to a maid. Yes, a maid whose shadow was stolen by Gecko Moria 10 years prior to the events of the series. And she is also voiced by Jay Marceri. I'm like, that's 4 characters in this series voiced by her. Versus Miss Valentine. Then it's that brief announcer character who appeared in War 7. And then it's Shatori. And then this maid. That's 4 characters she's voiced in the series. Which, wow, that's something. We also see that apparently it was a pirate crew that Gecko Moria took the shadows from, a Navy sailor, a couple people on a deserted island. Yeah, they show a lot of people, and of course, everybody pretty much is like all back normal. And that was when Kuma showed up. After Kuma leaves, because he's spared everybody, don't worry, this is a bit of an explanation later. And then, with everything pretty much normal, and with the remaining Third Bark pirates retreating and said they couldn't find Penra, well, there's a good reason why. She's off on Hawkeye Mihawk's Island, which she will stay up until Wano. Yep, that's indeed true when it comes to character. That's where she stays. Now, okay, so they have a celebration because, well, they defeated Gecko Moria. Why not just frickin' celebrate? Okay, so they have a celebration. Of course, Luffy basically still offers he's like, I really want to find what happened to my friend. He's like, me and Laboon? Yes. We met him and Frankie told him we met before. And then we have a bit of flashback for Brook. Yes, we're explaining how he kind of first met Laboon. Now, basically, when he first met Laboon, he was 38 years old. They pretty much explain that Laboon loved singing with him. Of course, if Luffy thought that they were sparring, no, it was actually just singing with them. So, they kind of explain at one point they tried to abandon him a couple times. First time was simply ignoring him. Eventually, they just follow him through Reverse Mountain, and they met the Doctor. They met that the Straw Hat crew met back in the Reverse Mountain arc. They dropped him off there, and then they explained that 3 years passed by. Like Wrath left the Boon, the captain of the ship, the original one, he got sick, and he appointed Brook as his successor. And with him, Braemir taking over basically the captain of the crew, he did a pretty good job leading the crew, and he did make one last order. Like, okay, even though so he's like they made it went through a lot of battles, and they all pretty died anyway. So him with a pretty somewhat smart idea. They pretty much got a tone dial, and Luffy knows exactly what the thing is because he and his group in the Skypiea. So they decided to, because of their death anyways, record one song for Laboon in case now Brook is probably the only one basically reunited with them because he has the revive fruit. Yep. Anyways, yeah. Of course, it's also shown that Brook basically also used to wear sunglasses when he was younger. Yes, and then after while they're playing this, everybody's like slowly dying, and then sunglasses fall off his face, and then they just disappear. Unknown what happened to those sunglasses. Does Brook still have them? Did he pick them up when he came back to life? Unknown, because those are cool looking sunglasses. Because they don't really say exactly what happened to them. The thing with Brook is they don't really explain or really show like when in the world he ate the revived fruit. Yeah, they don't show it at all, which I'm like, Yeah, as far as I can tell, they don't really show him actually eating the fruit or where he got it. Oh yeah, and also he's from West Blue. Yes. That's the strange thing about some of the Straw Hats. I mean, a lot of them, now, in the case of all of them, Chopper is, actually is from the Grand Line. Robin, I don't think she's from the Grand Line. I don't think so. I don't remember if she is. Now, in the case of Luffy, Nami, Zoro, Usopp, they're all from the East Blue. Sanji's from the North Blue. I think that Frankie's from the South Blue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and after all the celebrate, now Brook officially joins the crew, despite that. Oh yeah, and also when they come back to Zoro, they give Zoro that Paw root. There is blood all around him, and he basically could not freaking move at all because he was bleeding like freaking crazy. Yeah, from major blood loss. I'm surprised man didn't die. I think with basically like that's the thing. Both Luffy and Zoro have something in common. They have very high endurance. Yep. So during the party, basically, Brook officially joins the crew. Is the offer so good? He's like, yeah, okay, good. He joined the crew, and of course they celebrate. Of course they join the crew. Of course, Lola gives Nami her Viva card. Well, her mom's basically Big Mom's Viva card. And there's actually first mention of Big Mom in here. First time we hear from her, not exactly her name per se, but we mention it basically Lois' mom, aka Big Mom, and Boa Hancock. Yep, we get the first mention of her. Basically, the mentioning of her name sets up the Amazon Lily arc. Yeah, it's actually very loose. Like, nah, hey, Amazon Lily is coming, so we're gonna see her soon. Yep. And mentioned about the actual Risky Brothers dancing with Sanji and Brook. And of course, in case you're wondering, do these two ever actually meet Boa Hancock? Nope. I will explain the reason for that when I get to Amazon Lily. Yeah, so, of course, Frankie took time to fix up Brook's old ship, gives it to Lola's crew. Quite nice of him to do. I don't know if Brook actually got possessions off the ship because it seems as though inside of his coat he has his John McCain sword and his violin. Apparently inside of his long coat he has. Now I get that the bugs, basically that when he died, apparently dissolved most of his shirt, but it's never really explained exactly what the heck happened to his sunglasses. I mean, yeah, they were last seen when you seen the flashback. They were on the deck of a ship. What happened to them never is actually mentioned in the series. Did Brook lose them at some point? Did Brook simply just put them away in his coat and never want to take them out? It's never actually explained why. Of why that is. The Brook first joined the crew. Of course, they're all fully stocked up thanks to Penrod basically stocked up not only with food, but also treasure. Gakamoria's treasure, mind you. Yep. So. Oh yeah, and also Lola calls Nami Namizo. And they kind of become fast friends. And that's how Lola gives Nami her Viva card. And here's the thing. This Viva card does not come to play in the series until Whole Cake. Yeah, so Nami keeps it with her for over 2 years. Yes. She keeps it with her the whole period of time because it's basically Big Mom's Viva card. Yeah, it keeps with her the whole period of time. Oh yeah, they said for New World. Did you go to New World? It's like, no, I'm from there. From Whole Cake. Yep. And they do show off Ace's Viva card and it's slowly burning. He's in trouble. That's set up for Impel Down. So yeah, thanks to this arc, we get set for the very next canon arc of the series, Sabi Abago, along with Impel Down. Basically, we get set up for the next few arcs of the series. Sabi Abago, Amazon Lily, it's kind of the friend separation where there's a loose set for that one, but that's not set up here. That's set for next arc. Yeah, pretty much this arc, this ending, toward the end of this arc, this sets up the rest of the arcs we have for up until the time skip. Yep. And then once everyone gets on board, they sure say party again with Brook joining the crew, and Luffy's like, activate the coup de burst. And they go flying out. Brook's like, what is this? Yep, because he never experienced a Kudabus before because, well, they kind of just introduced it in the previous canon arc of the series. Well, even though, yes, it's technically the second arc it's appeared in. But yeah, this all in all arc was really good for the series. I love this arc. And it's plus, one of the things I think is the best thing about this arc is the introduction of Brook. Yeah, bringing this character and him joining the crew, that's officially 9 crew members right now. And in case you're wondering, asking the question, Nick, is there any point in the series, is there any more crew members joining the crew? Like, is it coming in the next arc? Nope. The next time we actually have an official person join the crew won't be until frickin' Whole Cake. So yes, the crew complement stays at 9 up until Whole Cake, which is actually the third most recent arc of the series. Yep, 2 arcs for the current one. That was the last non-official time we actually had a new crew member join the crew. Because Luffy does offer somebody to join the crew in Fishman Island arc, but he does technically think of that point, but he'll just table it for now until later. I won't say who it is per se, because I don't want to spoil the surprise. Because somebody that people who have been watching the current arc already know that, or reading the manga. I know because I read the manga. Yep. So yeah, that's it for Singular Review. My next review will be a review for a Comic Corner. Yep. And and also, I decided what my next anime is going to be. So it's going to be, Should Have a Failed Night. Yes, I'm discussing this anime. My next, review anime because I'm pretty much almost done with Fruitia Book 5. Yeah, I'm just about done with this, so I'm going to start that one soon. And then watch the anime and get my thoughts on the anime, okay? See you next video. Bye.